Welcome. I'm Andrew Fazekas, the Night Sky Guy, your host for the Night Sky this week for February 10th, 2025. Thanks so much for joining me here every week on Mondays, talking about what you can see in the night sky wherever you are around the world. I love to share some of my passion for the stars, for the universe, all the amazing things that you can see in the night sky. Thanks for joining me, taking a few moments out of your day. And if you find any value in this broadcast, please do give it a thumbs up, a like, and subscribe to the channel, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, Twitch, wherever you are on the social universe. Please do subscribe. It really helps my channel, allows me to bring these videos straight to you every week so you know what you can see in the sky, give a little bit of a guidance on some of the cool stuff that's happening in the heavens above. Hey, I hope you had some clear skies this weekend. Here in Montreal, where I am, I'm actually looking out my window. Beautiful blue skies right now. Kind of cold. I think it's about what, oh, -8 degrees right now where I am, in northeastern part of North America. You got to bundle up when you go outside in my neck of the woods. You really do need to bundle up and stay warm if you want to do some star watching. But the stars are so bright, and especially this time of the year, there are constellations out that are particularly bright, and I'll focus on those in this week. Hey, I hope you like the new intro I'm trying out. I've got some news that little reels from folks in different parts of the world, space agencies that I'm just going to share with you as an intro. Something a little bit educational, something fun to watch while we set up here in the studio for each episode. Hey, I also love to hear where you're watching from. I can see we've got folks from Alberta, -30 degrees Celsius in Alberta. Ooh, Jackie, that is pretty cold. Cindy's watching from Minnesota. Who else we've got on YouTube? We've got Pluto. What do you think about Asteroid 2024 hits the Earth in 2032? 2032. Well, that's an interesting thing. The odds are still in our favor regarding that asteroid. I'll put a link maybe after the show of what Pluto is referring to. It's this newfound asteroid that's about 40 to 70 meters across. It's about the size of a good large building that astronomers have identified only like just before Christmas or around Christmas time was when they found it in 2024. And they've been following it, and the trajectory of this particular asteroid appears to have a slight small chance of impacting Earth. Now, there's no chance of it being an extinction level event if it does hit us. But it is considered what some astronomers are calling it a city killer asteroid, meaning that it can wipe out a small neighborhood, definitely, if it impacts. Can cause a significant localized damage. Right now, the odds are somewhere around 2%, 2.5%. The odds did go up from 1% to 2.5% in the last few weeks because the asteroid has been followed and mapped better and can be projected what its path is going to be in the coming years. Now that's going to be continued, the following of this asteroid up until around April. After that, it'll just be too far away. It's actually moving away towards Mars and Jupiter, and it'll curve back in its trajectory towards Earth in a few years from now, where they'll be able to narrow down the odds even better. Most likely, it will not hit. I mean, right now, the chances are over 97% chance that it won't, but it's still ranked as one of I think the second asteroid ever to have the ranking of a higher on the scale that astronomers use to determine the likelihood of impact. So I'll put a link to a recent story for that I found that I've been following in astronomy news, and you can check that out yourself. But I wouldn't be too worried at this point. But it's an interesting story to follow, definitely. So hey, why don't we just jump into the planetarium as it appears on February 10th, Monday, as we're live streaming. This is going to be what the sky looks like at sunset on Monday. And right away, this is, of course, using my software. Big shout out to Simulation Curriculum, my friends there who produce this wonderful Sky Safari um, planetarium software that I like to use here with you folks, with my friends here. So this is the sky looking towards the southwest. You'll see, of course, that planetarium, sorry, that planetary parade that we've been talking about the last few weeks is still undergoing. There's no stopping that. You can see here, Saturn and Venus are pinning down the southwest. Venus is the brightest star-like object. Of course, it looks like the brightest star-like object in the entire sky, in fact, in the evenings nowadays. So it's very evident. And underneath it is a much fainter, but still a star-like object, a pinpoint of light. Saturn is visible to the naked eye. It's kind of getting into the glow of the sunset. So if I just move a little bit forward in time and allow it to get darker, you can see the time at the bottom of your screen there. It shows where we are. Let me just get that back, and you can see how the Saturn is appearing a little bit brighter after, say, 20 minutes to a half hour after sunset. Venus, again, very easy to see. So check that out. And then talking about the parade of planets, Jupiter is still very, very high up in the southern sky, southeastern sky, early evening in the constellation Taurus the Bull. Also embedded in that same area of the sky is Uranus, the seventh major planet in the solar system away from the sun. It's about magnitude 5, which means that Uranus is really only visible through binoculars and telescopes. So you won't see this with the naked eye, but it's there, part of the planetary parade. Uranus is a greenish dot. If you look at it closely here, if you look closely, you can see that color is very distinctive greenish blue. It's the methane ammonia that fills the atmosphere of the planet. That is what we're seeing, the actual color of the planet through binoculars and telescopes. And so that is just off to the right of Jupiter. Also near Jupiter, but not a planet, is Aldebaran. Aldebaran is the brightest star in the constellation Taurus the Bull. Very easy to see with the naked eye. Aldebaran is about 66 light years away. It's the 13th brightest star in the entire sky. So you're actually looking at, when you look at Aldebaran, it's amazing to think that it's taken 66 years for that light to reach your eye, and it's very close to Jupiter. So if you're facing towards the southeastern sky, you're going to be seeing Jupiter as the brightest star-like object high above. If you look below Jupiter, there's other things as well. There is Betelgeuse and Rigel pinning down the shoulder and knee or foot of Orion, the constellation Orion, very, very bright constellation this time of the year, dominating the winter skies in the northern hemisphere. And those of you, of course, in the southern hemisphere, this is a dominant constellation for you in the summertime where you are right now. Just a big shout out for folks watching, joining me here on the live stream. We've got Patty from Baton Rouge. We've got Stephen from Buckingham, UK. Sharon from Michigan. Nice of you to be here. Cindy from Minnesota. So thanks so much. Continue putting in where you're watching from. I love to see where my stargazing friends are around the world. And of course, rounding out the planetary parade is the planet Mars, which in the early evening, you can see I've got this planetarium set in just after sunset, again on Monday. Maybe perhaps we'll get it a little bit darker. Uh, Heading towards 7 o'clock in the evening time. This is pretty much what you would see in the northern hemisphere. There's Mars, and near Mars are two stars, which are the twin stars of Gemini constellation, the zodiacal constellation of Gemini, and the twin stars which really mark the head of these mythological twins. Right there, you can see Pollux and Castor, forming this kind of right angle geometric configuration with Mars, or a sort of like a triangular shape there. And below it, rising in the early evening, is the waxing gibbous moon right there. So this is Monday, and the moon is in the constellation Cancer the Crab. And so this is another zodiacal constellation, and you can see right there the constellation as it appears on sky charts, and the moon is right there inside the crab, the giant celestial crab that's rising in the east early evenings. So this is the setup of where the moon is in relation to the planets on Monday. But if we go to Tuesday, we will have a full moon. And actually, there's two nights in that will really be with the full moon, especially in North America. That's because officially the full moon occurs on Tuesday morning, like something like 8:53 a.m. Eastern time. That's what is that? That's 5:53 a.m. Pacific time. That the full moon is occurring on Wednesday morning, February 12th. So for us as observers, we'll see what looks like pretty much a full moon on Tuesday night and also on Wednesday night. So it'll look pretty much full because it's happening. The actual full phase occurs in our early morning hours here in North America, and that would be the daytime in those of you in Europe. So if we go back to our planetarium software, that is where the moon, the full moon, will appear on Tuesday night. So if you look towards the east, and by the way, looking at a full moon rise, fantastic. If you haven't done it in a while, it doesn't get old. It just looks beautiful to see that big silvery orb rising in the eastern horizon. And how the moon is positioned, and still it's still in Cancer the Crab, but right next to the giant claw of the crab. That's the positioning of the full moon. Really cool. And it's heading towards, on Wednesday, by Wednesday night, the moon will be in the constellation Leo, the lion, again rising in the east early evening. This is just around 7 o'clock at night. If we move that towards 8 o'clock at night, it looks much, much, I think, more neat, because you'll see a very bright star next to that full moon. It's called Regulus. It's about 76 light years away, and the pair looks magnificent together. The full moon and the star together is quite impressive. 76 light years away, that light takes to reach the Earth from Regulus, while the moon is only just over 1 light second away. 1 light second. It takes 1 second for the light from the moon to reach your eye, while it takes 76 years to reach your eye from Regulus. And the pair will be close together. I think this is the most beautiful sight for the entire week of seeing this pairing together. And it's something that you can try to take photographs with your smartphone. Definitely, it's easy to do. And by the 13th of February, which is Thursday, the moon will be in the just in the back legs of Leo the lion, another zodiacal constellation, again rising. This is what it looks like on Thursday evening around 8 o'clock, say, as the moon rises, still near Regulus, but has drawn farther away from that bright star. Still a beautiful sight for Thursday. And then for Valentine's Day, Friday, we watch the moon is rising later in the evening, so around 9. This is around 9, 10 o'clock. The moon will be in the constellation Virgo, the Maiden, and is heading towards the bright star Spica. By Saturday, it'll be even closer to Spica. And by Sunday night, we finish off the week again following the moon. This is the waning gibbous moon. will be positioned next to that bright blue-white star rising in the east. Now, that pair is going to be very eye-catching, and I think it's going to be particularly interesting to see that the moon, again, is next to a star, while we were looking at Regulus being 76 light years away. Imagine Spica is about 250 light years away from Earth. You are looking back 2.5 centuries from when the light left this blue, beautiful gem of a star. Just absolutely amazing. I want to say a big shout out to friends watching: Eugene from the Philippines, Rafi from England, Chris Hi from Wisconsin, and Maurice from Toronto, just down the road from where I am, also joining in on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining. So, really, those are, I would say, the best views. But, other than that, if we just kind of go back to Monday, the tonight, and if you're watching this, let me just see if I can get back here today and get it in the evening. So you have the moon there definitely on Monday, and if you want, wait until towards the end of the week and the moon will be out of the evening sky for you. But what's really neat, as you're watching the moon and the planetary parade, you're going to see a bunch of very, very bright stars. Now, those bright stars are really, as I've said before, showing that there's Orion, there's the stars of Orion like Rigel and Betelgeuse, and there's a retinue of other stars around Orion. Let me show you. They're really, really cool. Here we go. Back to the planetarium program. And this is just to round out this week's observing. You can see the constellation Taurus. Again, easy to find because Jupiter's there, Aldebaran. There's Orion, as I've mentioned before. But underneath Orion, you'll have that super bright star called Sirius. And that marks the brightest star in the constellation Canis Major, the big dog. That is kind of the companion, the canine companion for Orion, the mythical hunter. And then right next to that is the other smaller dog, the little dog, Canis Minor, as marked by another bright star called Procyon, right there. And it's kind of just off to the left of Sirius in the early evening sky if you're watching this. It's a really, really neat. And then, of course, you've got Castor and Pollux up there. And way above is, in the higher part of the sky, is Capella, right there in the constellation Auriga. Okay, okay, it's right there, the herdsman. And Auriga is really just a beautiful constellation. It's in the shape of a kind of uh, a house, I guess. And I'll post a nice sky chart for this so you can see all these bright stars that surround. It's almost called it's like a circlet or a winter hexagon shape that's formed by all these bright stars around Orion. And it's like Taurus is included, Auriga is included, Canis Major is included. It's really neat. And this is probably the most beautiful part of, I think, of the starry heavens any time of the year. Other than watching the Milky Way, this is one of my absolute favorite spots to just look through a telescope or binoculars. There's lots to see in the Orion part of the sky. It always looks busy, and it's just very sparkly to see. So with that said, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this little trip through the sky and seeing all the different things of the planets that are visible, still dominating the skies. And of course, with the moon jumping from one area of the sky to the next, it points to things that are easy to follow. And sometimes it pairs up with stars, like it will be doing with Regulus and, of course, Spica. But to end the week. So hope you get some clear skies and you get to see some of this fun stuff. Also, don't forget to sign up for my newsletter, Stargazing Newsletter. It comes up here and there. I try to do it as much as I can. There'll be a list of some interesting things coming up in the sky that I'll be putting into the upcoming newsletter. You don't want to miss that. That'll be a special for the newsletter. So sign up for that. You can do that on my website, thenightskyguy.com. And hey, I hope you enjoyed this. And if you found value again in this particular video, please make sure to subscribe. It means a lot to me, allows me to bring these videos straight to your home. And wow, busy week again. Thanks so much. I'll be posting sky charts all week long, so don't forget to check out my timeline on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter as well. So with that, thanks again. Hope you stay safe and healthy, and until the next video, clear skies. Bye-bye.